Hi, Ben. My name is Nina Sved. I'm the head of marketing at LAAIMPA, and I'm here to say congratulations on winning Best Animation for The Art Between.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Of
Um,
course, it was quite a unique piece of work. The art between takes the audience inside a mind that transforms ordinary observations into complex visual worlds. So, what first inspired you to explore this kind of heightened imagination through animation?
Thank you for your question. Just to just to give some like more insight on that short film.
Hmm.
The art between is actually like I feel it's a really special piece because it's working around one main idea is that is called like hyperphantasia, which
Hmm.
is technically a medical condition. We can call it like that. Um, there are a lot of research about this. It's technically there are those individuals. I think it's like if I'm not mistaken, it's like 2 to 3% of the population
Okay.
that are having this condition. To be honest, that is
Hmm.
technically this like let's say like unlimited, limitless creativity in a way. um, I'm trying to say it in a way that um, I hope that everybody will understand. But it's technically there are those people, like let's say the artistic people,
Hmm.
and you can call the painters, the filmmakers, or anybody who is working in the creative industry. There are these gifted people or talented people, let's call it this way, who are just feeling these by just looking at things, right? So when somebody is just walking in the forest and just looking around, they can see the creative side, or technically the I don't know, like the sounds behind the colors, for example. So like it's a really, really artistic way to express things, and I feel that there are a lot of gifted artists in many industries, and this movie is trying to capture this ability of theirs. It's like a really yeah, it's like it's really something that I think it's really hard to picture or like to depict in a movie. But I really wanted to make sure that with this jumping in different art styles, it kind of gives the vibe to the viewer that this is how they could see the world.
Oh, yes, the film was constantly shifting between different artistic styles and visual languages too. How were you able to decide which styles should represent each emotional or maybe psychological state?
That's actually a really good question. I would say that, to be honest, like, I wouldn't say that I'm a person like this, but it's definitely something that for the creative people, it kind of gives like a really good inspiration. And for me, it's always when I'm imagining one, like the next scene or a sequence of movement or animation. I always have one specific art style that I wish to represent that scene with. So I was just trying to kind of randomize it. So I also just took big walks in the forest because there are some like foresty, um, let's say, scenes in the movie. Me personally, I'm always trying to like just pay attention to the smallest details. So, for example, all of these, especially actually like all of these short movies that I'm making,
Hmm.
I'm basing it or basing them mostly on my dreams, and also trying to find some like let's say answers in the real world for
Hmm.
it. So technically there were different places that were kind of like represented in a movie, right? So there was the platform, for example, at the train station. That's also something when I'm traveling to Amsterdam. I'm based in the Netherlands, and for example, when I'm going to work, it's also something that I'm always seeing. And you know, there are those graffitis and paintings and everything around the person. And a lot of people are not paying attention, but these small details, I think they are really like essential and just evoking a lot of inspiration.
Well, you're lucky you remember your dreams because I get almost like Christopher Nolan level of action in my dreams, but I wake up and within 10 minutes I can't remember a thing, but I know that that was good. I know that that would definitely sell. So lucky you that you remember your dreams. I wish I could do the same thing with mine. And I really love how you said, some pieces of architecture, I feel like, for example, we're based in LA, Hollywood, right? So for us, the Alley of the Stars, we step on it every day. We don't care. We don't look at the names. But if a
Yeah.
tourist comes for them, it's like a sacred ground. They're like, everyone stop the walking. Let me take a photo. They're taking photos from different angles. And I guess it's just sometimes our eye gets so comfortable with what we see on daily basis. But for a tourist or for someone fresh or someone with the level of creativity that you mentioned, they keep noticing these things, and that's just so beautiful. Wow. Did you approach the film as a traditional story with a clear progression or more as a stream of thoughts, sensations, and associations?
Um, I think there was one time when I was reading this on the internet, so this was actually like an already existing researched backed
Mhm.
um, let's say study, or let's call it like as a medical condition, if I can say that, because maybe it's just like a state of mind, or just, yeah, technically just like an excessive amount of creativity that was given to a person. um, I would say that um, sorry, what was the question again? Sorry, because I just lost the train of thought.
You're fine. The question was approaching the film was, did you initially want to approach the film as a traditional story or more as a stream of thoughts,
Yeah,
sensations?
yes. Um, in my head, um, I just thought that it would be way better to showcase a story, or
Mm-hmm,
like showcase like let's say stream of thoughts of the person, like of the main character, because to depict this whole condition
mm-hmm,
of a person, I think the best way to showcase it, to actually show how that person thinks or sees things. So even though that we can see it kind of in third person, mostly the main character is still how it like is kind of how he pictures the world around him. So that would be the main idea behind the movie, to get, let's say, a chance to get into his head, and look through his eyes, how he can see the world, and how he can see and just look at the minor details of the world. So I would say that this would be the main purpose, and this is how I try to direct the movie in a way, because I feel that, and this is actually also a message that I wanted to express with it, that everybody is capable of this thing, to actually just pay attention to small minor details, and just kind of play with the idea, and try to get some inspiration out of these minor details, or just small art, right? Like graffiti is also, like, I would say, a really controversial topic, because a lot of people are saying that it's not like the vandalism, but
yeah,
on the other hand, there are really nice pieces of art that actual artists are making.
totally.
And yeah, these are basically just like thought-provoking
Mhm.
um, directions that I wished to like put into such a short movie, right? Like this is a really short piece, but yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it still evokes some inspiration
Well, it
of the
definitely
viewers.
did because that is why you're here, and that is why we have the award happening. Um, Another thing I noticed was the music. In the film, m music really helps the character quiet the outside world while making his inner visions even more vivid. Why was this contrast important to you? And how did music influence the film's visual language?
It definitely influences it. I would say that that's also something that I composed as a piece.
Wow.
I'm really happy that we are living in a world that creative people have the chance to actually create with AI. This is also really controversial, though, but I'm
Hmm.
really happy for this, also for this festival. So thank you for that, because um, you are also providing us like a really nice platform to express our creative thoughts, right? And this is something that I think AI enables this to those creative people who might not have all the assets or like all the tools to actually express and make these ideas or stories alive. Yeah, I'm trying to like go away from the topic, but back to the music piece. I was using some AI tools to create a really, really nice, profound piece of music for this.
Hmm.
That is actually rather like not really like taking, but rather giving more to the viewers and just complementing the whole visual style of the whole movie. Um, I would say that like the main idea why it was chosen for this piece, because I feel all these like classical instruments that were being heard throughout the movie are just amplifying the creative thought process. And well, there are a lot of like artists who are getting asked why they could create such a nice painting, or for example, there are those artists who are like creating songs, right? Like the songwriters,
Hmm.
they are also getting inspiration from different music pieces or like songs or anything like these, like small melodies. And I just have a strange feeling that these are also just inspiring people and amplifying those small moments when you are in your, let's say, creator mode.
Hmm.
So I think music is always something that can be used as a tool as well. It gives you the dopamine, and also gives you a lot of inspiration for creating. For the creators, it's an essential tool for sure.
And at the same time, these creative people, there's quite a contrast between them and, let's say, a regular person. And the film really does a great job exploring the distance that can grow between a highly imaginative person and the people around them. Why was isolation an important part of this story?
Okay, isolation. You mean that the main character was a bit kind of depicted as a lonely person?
Yes. Kind of, in his own world. At the
Hmm.
same time, he's there, of course, physically, he's present, but almost like his thoughts, almost like it was sometimes overwhelming, this noticing of things and this brain work all the time. It's almost like music was like a relief because he was feeling isolated too. That's how I perceived it. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Yes.
Definitely, like this was also intentional
Hmm.
throughout the movie, because I have a strange feeling that since I mentioned the actual numbers, like this is true for such a small amount of people.
Hmm.
Like if we see the like the majority, right, like the bigger picture, that these people are kind of getting isolated to a certain extent, because even though that they are, let's say, well-known artists, or like these creative people are getting appreciated by their core circle, let's say,
Hmm.
um, there are some trains of thought, or there are some moments for these gifted people that they just cannot share this, I think. So sometimes they need to step back and just leave their word inside their heads to
Hmm.
create. So this is always something, I think. Also when somebody is creating something, it also depends. Like I'm mostly talking about like making like the solo films or something, right? When you are like only working, when you are working on a project by yourself only. When it involves a team, that's another story. But I feel that those people who wish to create something by their own, it's in a way, to that extent, it's like an alone, or like a soul story. And then when you are stepping out and showing it to the crowd, then it's getting appreciated. So it's also with the painters, for example. There are those painters who are painting painting their next pieces completely alone by and also with alongside listening to music. So these are mostly connected with this loneliness, I would say. Sometimes in this journey, it can be lonely, especially because there are a lot of people who cannot relate, right? There are the other people, like the other extreme examples, who are walking or like just taking a walk in the park, and they cannot see these because they
Yes.
are not trying. Not all of them, but because everybody is like this is something that you can learn.
Yeah, I also believe that that's something that, for example, I'm a person that when I'm in the park, I'm on my phone or I'm just trying to find nearest food place to sit and eat and grab a coffee. But I know that that is because my work is sometimes so overwhelming. And when I tell myself, "Oh my God, Nina, you're in the park, look around you," I start sitting and I'm like, "Oh my God, this world is so beautiful. Look at the park. I've been walking here every day and I'm just noticing these things." I mean, of course, that would never bring me as an individual to these people because I know I'm nowhere close to that. However, I do think that, and that actually is bringing me to my next question. My question was, after experiencing this intense inner world, what do you hope viewers will understand differently about creativity, about perception, and people who experience reality? And I just caught myself, thinking that at least some people like me after this movie can start pushing themselves to notice good things around them. And I'm sorry, I just let myself there because I I'm so grumpy. Camping is not my thing. Nature is not my thing. I'm just not very appreciative. But sometimes I notice it and it just opens a whole can of love and gratefulness, and no one needs work or money anymore. Wow. Am I correct? Or what else is there that you would want a person to experience um, after watching this movie, this
I
creation?
wanted to, and thank you. I wanted to create such a short movie in like this movie is in let's say intending to also invite people who
Mhm.
are not feeling like this gifted, right? Like this is again a small amount of people, but it's still something that tries to invite people to create and also just to look around and live these small moments because sometimes we need to remind ourselves. Me personally, I'm also right. Everybody is human, so since we are humans, we tend to forget that we need to live by these small things as well, and we need to appreciate these. So this movie is inviting those viewers as well to join this and just look around sometimes and just to appreciate the small minor details that they can just see around themselves. And there was another thing that you asked, and I might forgot that about
Uh,
this, or I just wanted to add something, but
I
yeah.
believe my question was mostly about, after experiencing your world, what would viewers have to
Oh
get
yeah,
their world? Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah. So yes.
I think so.
Uh,
I think it would be cool if everyone who has like a 9 to 5 and a very hard job to try to maybe squeeze in once in a while some weird, unusual class that they would never take, like pottery. Go do pottery, go paint or
yeah.
something. Just let your emotions out. That what came to my mind as well, because I feel like our routine is almost like adding on to that lack of ability to notice things and to admire things. And I thank you very much for your work.
Mhm. I do agree with this actually, because that's also something that if you think about it, we are always on our phones as well, right? So since we are getting all these impulses, we are we are just too busy to look around sometimes, which is a really sad thing. But this is the reality. We just need to live with it. Like we cannot really do much. Of course, there are the dopamine detox things and everything. Of course, there are some practices that you can do, but in the end of the day, social media and everything has such a big influence on people that it's really, really hard to fight, right? But it's indeed really important sometimes just to try out some new things, as you mentioned, for example, the pottery, or
Mhm,
just grab a pen or a brush or a pencil and just try to create something, or I don't know, edit a new video. It's also something that a lot of people don't really know how to do that. But when it comes to, like, I don't know, like just a holiday, it's really
mhm,
nice to have that as a memory. And you can also be proud of yourself that you made that piece. And I also wanted to mention one more thing, that think about those people who are this gifted and they are not showing this to the world.
mhm,
So there are many, many talented people who are just maybe too afraid to share this, or maybe they just think that it's just too personal for them. That's word that, for example, this movie was also intending to show. This is just one, um, let's say, idea, right? But there are thousands of people who are this gifted, but they maybe just don't have the courage, or they just don't have the courage yet to show this to the world. And I think this is also interesting to mention, that there will be stories that will be never told, that will be never, yeah, that we won't hear ever, and they
mhm.
will stick in the mind of that person, even though that maybe that could be one of the Oscar-winning stories, right?
Very
That's
true.
really interesting to think about, I think.
Very true. Yes, I think very often a lot of talented people are not even close to showing all the capabilities of their talents because they're scared of judgment. But hey, hopefully, I believe that the world is cruel, but it can be a very kind place. And I hope that your viewers definitely took something, even a little bit, from the movie that you presented to us. I know I did. So I would like to say congratulations once again on this
Thank you.
outstanding achievement. And we do look forward to discovering the films, or let me say dreams, and worlds you create next. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, Nina. It's a pleasure.